Hi, 8th graders. Miss Bailey here, checking in with you as we start our third week of online learning. So I decided that for my first video, I would start right at the beginning and show you exactly how to get to Google Classroom. Okay, so you should go to the Google homepage. And then the first thing I should do, I should go to Gmail or to sign in up here. I'm just going to click on Gmail. And then it shows me my accounts because I've previously signed in. If you haven't previously signed in, type in your A90 number with the rcsd121.org, and then it should be your same password from when we left school. And if you save it onto your computer, it makes it really easy that you just get to click the next button, and it signs you right in. And so now that I'm in my Gmail, you can see it's showing me all of your assignments that I have gotten or from my other classes. But I think the quickest way to get to Google Classroom, you could type it in up here at you could type Google Classroom up here, you could start a new tab, but I think the easiest way is just to go over to the square Google Apps and go to Google Classroom. And now to find today's assignment or Monday's assignment for you, you're going to want to scroll down and find your 7th period ELA class. And then it's going to be posted right up here. This should be the first thing that pops up on your stream. Because I haven't posted it yet, I'm going to go to it here. I have it in this saved as a draft, but when you open it up, it should look like this. You might have to, I'm going to click edit assignment, but on yours it should say view details, and you could open that up. Now this is letting me assign it, but you're going to click on this. Okay, introduction, Lord of the Flies. We're starting our new book. So based on this slideshow, you're going to answer the questions on the slides or on a separate sheet of paper. Your answers must be in complete sentences and use proper spelling. Okay, so then you're going to open up this assignment, and here I have the slides here for you. So I'm going to present them, and I'm going to go over the slides for you. Okay, so Lord of the Flies is by William Golding. He is a British writer, and he's kind of a hardcore guy. Okay, so William Golding was a British writer and schoolmaster, lecturer, actor, sailor, and musician. He was born on September 19th, 1911 in Cornwall, England. Although he always wanted to be an author, he even tried to write a novel at the age of 12. His parents forced him to study science. Golding followed his parents' wishes and studied natural sciences at Oxford. However, after 2 years, he switched to English literature. After graduating, Golding worked briefly as a theater actor and director, wrote poetry, and then he became a schoolteacher. In 1940, a year after England entered World War II, Golding joined the Royal Navy, where he served in command of a rocket launcher. After the war, he returned to teaching, and he began to write again. He died in 1993 at the age of 81. So this dude, he did a lot. He's pretty cool. He's done a lot of things. Okay, so Golding and World War II. Golding joined the Royal Navy in 1940 and spent 6 years afloat. Except for 7 months in New York and 6 months helping Lord Cherwell at the Naval Research Establishment. He saw action against battleships at the sinking of the Bismarck, submarines, and aircraft. He finished the war as a lieutenant in command of a ship that launched rockets. He was present off the French coast for the D-Day invasion, and later at the island of Walcheren. After the war, Golding resumed teaching and started to write novels and published The Lord of the Flies in 1954. So there you can see a naval ship there. Okay, so history behind the novel. When The Lord of the Flies was published in the early 1950s, Britain was living in the shadow of the horrors of World War II. Indeed, Golding's experience in the war had a profound effect on his view of humanity and the evils of which it was capable of. Golding was revolted by the evil things people did to each other in the war. The Nazi concentration camps, the Japanese treatment of their prisoners, the atomic bombing against civilians, even his own actions as a naval officer. Golding began to see all human nature as savage and unforgiving. He had seen that even the good could be corrupted. After the war, the United Nations was set up to try and ensure that such a global conflict never happened again. But in 1954, when The Lord of the Flies was published, it was the early years of the Cold War, and the threat of the Third World War was very real. Many countries had built up arsenals of nuclear weapons with enough atomic energy to destroy civilizations. The fact that the events in The Lord of the Flies take place against the backdrop of nuclear war is not merely a coincidence. Okay, so all of this is telling us about this man, Mr. Golding, the writer, and all these bad things that he sees when he's in the war, then how that impacts and that translates into what he writes about in this story. So it's pretty interesting to think how he's taking that history of what's actually happened in his life and including it in his book. Okay, so now this is kind of the evil he's talking about. You see how destroyed the city is. So this is in Dresden, Germany, and these were landmarks. These were very important buildings and beautiful things that people like to come and see in Germany, and they were just completely destroyed by the war. Okay, so now here on the left, you see that mushroom cloud, you see the atomic bomb, and then over here on the right, you see the devastation in Hiroshima, Japan, and how there's only a few buildings that are still upright. Most of the land is just completely flat. They've just destroyed this whole city. And again, this is the type of evil that Golding has witnessed and now impacts how he writes. And then you see this is in a concentration camp or death camp, Auschwitz. You see how skinny and mistreated these people were. Okay, so now this is a big concept we will be focusing on throughout reading The Lord of the Flies. Allegory. In literature, writers often use allegory to convey their ideas. An allegory is a literary device which conveys meaning through symbols, actions, even characters. In The Lord of the Flies, the setting, the characters, and even some of the symbols serve to convey feelings about leadership, order, civilization, control, and culture. One should bear this in mind when reading the novel. Continually ask the question, what deeper comment is Golding making about society and humanity? Okay, so there might be a certain character in the story, and they might really represent some type of feeling. They might not actually represent just a person. You know, everything in the story has a deeper meaning, and he's making an allegory with symbols and actions and characters. So we want to always see, what is he saying about society? What is he saying about war? What is he saying? He's not just telling us this story for fun. He's trying to make a bigger point, a deeper point. And so that's something we really are going to be doing in this novel, is diving deep and thinking about what the author is trying to say and what meaning is he trying to convey and what is he trying to say about our society and humans in general. Okay, so for your assignment, so based on this slideshow, whether you listen to it by me or you read it on your own, you're going to go to the next slides or on the sheet of paper. You can write down the questions there. If you do it on a piece of paper, make sure to send me a picture to my email or to my phone, which are listed there. And the answers must be in complete sentences and use proper spelling. So your first question, question 1, explain how Golding's own life experiences influenced his writing. Use 2 details to support your response. And then right there, you're going to click in next to answer and type in your answer in red. 2, when and where was Golding born? How might he have this influenced him? So then now you're going to talk about where was he born? That was on one of the first slides. And just tell me how being born in that country changed his perspective versus if maybe he was born in America or he was born in Japan. Talk about where he was born and how that influenced him and changed how he saw things. Okay. Question 3. In your own words, what is an allegory? That was one of the last slides. If you need to go, their definition's right in there for you. But I want it to be in your words. So take that definition, think about it, and then state it again. Okay. 4. Lord of the Flies is largely about human nature. Do you believe that people are mostly good or mostly evil? Use 2 details to explain your thought as thoroughly as possible. Okay, so a sentence starter for this would be, I believe people are mostly good because I've only met good people and they're kind to me, and I give an example of someone being kind to me. Or a different sentence starter would be, I believe people are mostly evil because, and then give an example of when someone was mean to you or evil towards you. Okay, again, if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me, Miss Bailey. And then after you have finished typing in your questions there should be a turn-in button over here where it says present and share. You should also have a turn-in button somewhere up here. And you want to click that, and then it tells me that you're done with it, and I can grade it for you. But thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, again, reach out.